What if I told you that thousands of Americans are quietly packing up, leaving high-cost cities behind, not for a tropical beach or a mansion, but for smaller, smarter towns where their retirement dollars go further? These aren't flashy lifestyle destinations. These are places where affordability, healthcare, safety, and quality of life all align, and they're increasingly popular among strategic retirees looking to make their money last. Today, we're exploring 16 US towns that are on the radar for smart Americans retiring in 2026. Let's start with Laramie, Wyoming, a high-altitude college town with big skies and even bigger appeal. Laramie combines mountain living with small-town charm. Its cost of living is lower than many coastal cities, and Wyoming's favorable tax structure makes it especially attractive for retirees. You get clean air, access to outdoor recreation, and the comfort of a close-knit community. Next up is Cedar City, Utah, a cultural gem known for the Utah Shakespeare Festival, accessible trails, and year-round beauty. Housing remains relatively affordable compared to more touristy parts of Utah, and health services are solid. For retirees who want a slower pace, access to nature, and a low cost of living, Cedar City hits a sweet spot. Over in the Midwest, Stillwater, Oklahoma offers a surprising mix of college town energy and peaceful retirement vibes. Its downtown is walkable, its neighborhoods are safe, and it's far from the noise of big metros. While Oklahoma isn't known for glitzy retirement life, Stillwater's affordability, low taxes, and warm community feel make it a smart pick. Then there's Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, arguably one of the most scenic retirement towns on this list. Lakeside views, mountain access, and a booming retiree community make it a favorite. Real estate hasn't exploded like in some West Coast towns, and healthcare access is improving. For retirees who value scenery and a slower pace without giving up amenities, Coeur d'Alene is a strategic move. In Bentonville, Arkansas, retirees are getting something rare: growth without the insane price tags. Bentonville is no longer just the home of Walmart. It's become a regional hub with good healthcare, arts, and a surprisingly high quality of life. The cost of living remains friendly, and its central US location means you're never too far from anywhere. Heading to the south, Greenville, South Carolina blends southern charm, modern infrastructure, and a thriving downtown. It's walkable, friendly, and offers plenty of amenities, but doesn't carry the same premium that some other retirement-friendly southern cities do. With mild winters and a strong sense of community, Greenville is becoming a go-to for retirees who want both tradition and convenience. La Crosse, Wisconsin is next on the list. If you're okay with four seasons, this river town offers a mix of small-town living and quality healthcare. The cost of living is moderate, and La Crosse's arts, nature, and academic presence, thanks to its university, make it a well-rounded retirement base. Then we've got Hot Springs, Arkansas, a classic retirement pick for a reason. Thermal springs, affordable housing, and a laid-back lifestyle give Hot Springs a timeless appeal. Healthcare options are decent, and the town manages to feel like a hidden spa retreat without the luxury price tag. Moving north to Traverse City, Michigan, you'll find the kind of place where retirees can sip wine, paddle on lakes, and enjoy four-season living. Real estate near Traverse City can be pricey in parts, but there are affordable pockets if you're strategic. The sense of community, combined with outdoor beauty, makes it a strong contender for people who want to age where they vacation. Back in Utah, St. George offers desert landscapes, warm winters, and a growing retiree population. Taxes are friendly, and outdoor recreation is endless. It feels like a resort town, but the cost can be far more manageable than major resort destinations. Retirees here often trade colder winters for sunshine and economic value. Over in Texas, Georgetown stands out. Not too far from Austin, but far enough to avoid the city's intensity, Georgetown offers walkable neighborhoods, charming downtown, and reasonable housing. Texas has no state income tax, which further sweetens the deal for retirees. For many, this feels like the best of both worlds: small-town charm with access to a large city's amenities. Down in Florida, Gainesville isn't your stereotypical retiree town, but that's exactly its strength. Home to the University of Florida, Gainesville has excellent healthcare, cultural life, and a surprisingly young vibe, but housing and taxes can be cheaper compared to Florida's coastal retirement destinations. It's a place where retirees can stay active, engaged, and supported. Out west in Prescott, Arizona, you'll find high desert beauty, mild seasons, and a tight-knit retiree community. The town leans into its historic charm, with walkable downtown areas and strong social infrastructure. It's also more affordable than some of Arizona's big-name retirement spots, making it a compelling choice for those willing to trade Phoenix's heat for Prescott's peace. In Greenville, Maine, retirees are drawn by coastal New England charm without the astronomical New Hampshire or Massachusetts costs. This town offers art, nature, and a calm coastal lifestyle. While Maine winters are real, the payoff is a more affordable piece of that iconic East Coast charm, paired with close-knit community and quality of life. Johnson City, Tennessee, offers something deeply strategic for retirees: a lower tax burden, decent healthcare options, and solid housing costs. Tennessee doesn't tax Social Security, and overall cost of living stays lower than many retirees expect. It's not a tourist hub, but it's rich in community and natural beauty, a serious choice if you want value without sacrificing comfort. And finally, Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Perched in the Ozark Mountains, this town feels like a storybook place. Victorian architecture, winding hills, and natural springs make it feel timeless. For retirees drawn to quirk, calm, and affordability, Eureka Springs is a strategic escape. All of these towns share a few key traits: lower than average cost of living, access to healthcare, community infrastructure, and a decent quality of life. Strategic retirees are looking not just to stretch their money, but to enjoy it, to live somewhere that feels like home, not just a retirement math problem. Many of these towns also benefit from tax advantages. States like Wyoming, Tennessee, and Texas offer favorable tax environments. Others offer affordable real estate or strong local economies that are not overly dependent on tourism or seasonal residents. That's what gives these towns staying power. They're not trend-driven. They're built to serve long-term residents. There's also a growing trend. Retirees who choose these places aren't just retiring down, they're moving up. They're creating community, contributing economically, and helping reshape what retirement means in America. These aren't empty nest towns. Many are thriving, evolving places with active seniors, young families, and local economies that are diversifying. If you're thinking of your own retirement path, relocating to a smaller, more affordable town could be one of the smartest decisions you make. It's not about giving up luxury, it's about gaining freedom, stability, and value. As costs rise in major metros, the appeal of these 16 towns will only grow stronger. If you take a closer look at the data, housing prices, healthcare accessibility, walkability, and tax structures, you start to see a fascinating pattern emerging. These retirement towns aren't random. They're part of a much larger shift in how Americans think about financial security and lifestyle balance. For decades, retirement dreams were defined by Florida condos, desert golf courses, or high-end senior communities. But that's changing fast. The next generation of retirees, people in their 50s and early 60s now, want purpose, affordability, and connection. They're trading retirement communities for real communities, and it's reshaping the map of America. Take places like Bentonville, Arkansas, or Johnson City, Tennessee. Once quiet, overlooked towns, now thriving because of retirees who want small city convenience without big city costs. These aren't people running away from city life. They're intentionally redesigning it. They're bringing business experience, volunteerism, and even remote work with them. That influx keeps local economies healthy, which in turn attracts better services, restaurants, and healthcare options. It's a self-sustaining loop. Smart retirees moving in, improving the local ecosystem, and drawing even more like-minded people. Another layer of strategy behind these retirement moves is diversification, not just financially, but geographically. Just as you diversify your portfolio to manage risk, retirees are diversifying their lives. Instead of being tied to one expensive coastal state, they're moving inland or to mid-size markets where their fixed income stretches farther. The effect? A stronger sense of financial security and less stress about inflation, property taxes, or medical costs. Let's look at some hidden factors that make these towns more than just affordable options. First, healthcare access. The new breed of retirees are planners. They don't just chase sunshine, they chase good hospitals. Cities like Gainesville, Florida, and La Crosse, Wisconsin offer world-class healthcare while maintaining smaller town living. Retirees are discovering they don't need to live in major metros for top-tier care. They just need proximity to a strong regional medical system. Then there's the lifestyle factor. These 16 towns are not quiet in the boring sense. They're dynamic but balanced. They give retirees what they actually want: room to breathe, things to do, and a sense of belonging. Take Greenville, South Carolina, for example. On weekends, its downtown streets fill with farmers' markets, jazz nights, and local festivals. Retirees here aren't isolated. They're part of something that feels alive. And let's talk about nature, the underrated currency of retirement happiness. More than ever, retirees are prioritizing access to trails, rivers, lakes, and mountains. These natural amenities don't just provide recreation, they promote mental and physical health. St. George, Utah, and Coeur d'Alene, Idaho are perfect examples of places where hiking, kayaking, or simply sitting by a lake can become a daily ritual. That proximity to nature gives retirees a sense of freedom that money alone can't buy. There's also a growing preference for towns with multi-generational character. The stereotype of isolated senior enclaves is fading. The new retirees want energy. They want to be around families, students, and entrepreneurs. That's why university towns like Gainesville or Stillwater rank so highly. The presence of universities keeps communities young and offers retirees lifelong learning opportunities, cultural events, and even free classes. It's not unusual to see retirees attending lectures, volunteering on campus, or joining student-led innovation groups. From a purely financial standpoint, the math on these towns is compelling. A retiree moving from, say, San Diego to Cedar City or Hot Springs could cut their annual expenses by 30 to 40%, without any major sacrifice in lifestyle. Lower housing costs, cheaper groceries, and no state income tax in some regions create a powerful compounding effect. That difference alone could extend a retirement portfolio by a decade or more. In essence, moving to a smarter location is like earning a guaranteed return, something no stock or bond can promise. Another interesting element is resilience. During economic downturns, smaller towns with diversified local economies tend to be more stable. They don't rely entirely on tourism or one industry. A place like Bentonville, for instance, has corporate stability from Walmart, but also a growing arts and tech ecosystem. Prescott, Arizona, benefits from retirees, but it also supports education, healthcare, and local manufacturing. That diversity keeps property values steady even when national markets fluctuate. Culturally, these towns are becoming increasingly rich too. Retirees today are looking for meaning and engagement. They want to contribute, and that's something small towns are uniquely equipped to offer. Volunteer organizations, local boards, community gardens, historical societies, these places welcome participation. In contrast to big cities, where you can feel invisible, these smaller towns allow retirees to have real impact. It's not uncommon to hear of retirees starting local nonprofits, mentoring youth, or helping shape civic policies. One trend worth noting is the rise of hybrid retirees, people who aren't fully retired. They're consulting part-time, doing remote gigs, or turning hobbies into income streams. Affordable towns make that lifestyle possible. A retiree living in Johnson City or Hot Springs can afford to take creative risks, open a small art gallery, teach online, or run a microbrewery, because overhead is low and community support is strong. This is redefining what retirement looks like. It's less about stepping back and more about finally having the time and space to do what matters. Now, there's also a subtle psychological aspect to these moves. People often underestimate the emotional relief that comes from right-sizing, trading a high-pressure, high-expense life for something simpler. Living in a smaller town can lower daily stress, foster mindfulness, and rebuild a sense of purpose. Retirees often say they feel 10 years younger after leaving expensive, crowded urban environments. And that's not just anecdotal. Studies consistently show that affordability and social connection are two of the strongest predictors of happiness in later life. Let's also address one of the most overlooked aspects of these strategic towns: their infrastructure for aging in place. Many of them have invested in accessible public spaces, transportation services, and walkable design. For instance, Greenville and Prescott both prioritize downtown areas where retirees can live within walking distance of essentials. It's not just convenience, it's long-term independence. Retirees don't have to rely as much on cars, which reduces expenses and enhances quality of life. And when you compare these towns side by side with traditional retirement destinations like Naples, Palm Springs, or Scottsdale, the advantages become crystal clear. Lower property taxes, less crowding, more authenticity. These places still feel like America, not gated resorts. They give retirees a chance to stay grounded, surrounded by neighbors who share values of simplicity, work ethic, and community. Even climate diversity plays a role. While many retirees chase sun, others are seeking seasons, the joy of autumn leaves, cozy winters, and spring blooms. La Crosse, Traverse City, and Greenville, Maine are attracting people who miss those seasonal rhythms but want affordability. It's no longer a one-size-fits-all model. Retirees are tailoring their environments to what emotionally fulfills them. Looking ahead, these towns are likely to benefit from continued migration. As remote work continues, younger populations are also moving into smaller cities, which keeps local economies vibrant and property values healthy. This means retirees aren't just saving money now. They're buying into communities with growth potential. That's an underrated long-term financial play. We should also mention one practical advantage: inheritance efficiency. Many retirees in expensive states face estate tax burdens or capital gains implications when selling property. Relocating to a low-tax state allows for better wealth transfer planning, so even for retirees thinking generationally about leaving something behind, these towns make sense. Another compelling point: these communities are less transient. People tend to stay put once they move in. That consistency creates deeper friendships and social reliability, an element of retirement happiness money can't measure. The neighbor who checks on you during a storm, the local pharmacist who knows your name, the small cafe where the barista remembers your order. These micro-experiences create a sense of rootedness that retirees crave after years of hustle and mobility. So maybe the question isn't which town you'll retire to, but how intentionally you'll choose it. Because the difference between an average retirement and a fulfilling one isn't luck, it's strategy. And that strategy begins with knowing where your money, your values, and your happiness align. If you found this breakdown useful, hit that like button, share this video with someone planning for retirement, and subscribe to the channel for more smart move ideas, investing insights, and lifestyle tips that don't blow up your nest egg. Retirement doesn't have to cost a fortune. Sometimes the best moves are the quietest ones.